Good day, everyone. Welcome to our online learning discussion. This is your subject, Social Studies, grade 7A and B. Your teacher here, Miss Michelle Joy. This video will serve as a makeup recap class, especially for the students who are not able to attend our virtual class. Before we begin with our online learning discussion, let's have a short recap or review of the last topics that we have discussed last Monday. The first one is the two uses of sovereign power. The first one is direct use, and the second one is indirect use through representative. So in direct use, people are able to use legislative, administrative, and judicial powers by having a formal convention with communities that have small population. But in indirect use, because the population is big, the practice is seen in most countries nowadays, such as Britain, Japan, America, and Thailand. The second topic that we have discussed is about the three applications of sovereign power. The first one is legislative power, the second one is administrative power, and the third one is judicial power. Class, the objectives of the lesson for today are the following. The first one is students must be able to know what Buddhism is, and the second one, students must be able to know what Thai society is. So at the end of our lesson class, I expect that all of you have understood about Buddhism and about Thai society. Now class, let us proceed to our online learning discussion. The topics are Buddhism and Thai society. But before we proceed with our discussion, let us read the 5 words to learn that can help us better understand our topic for today. The first one is Buddhism. Number 2, society. Number 3, fundamental. Number 4, worship. And number 5, meditation. Now let's read the meaning of these words one by one. Buddhism. Buddhism is a major world religion, or in a better sense, philosophy. It is the 4th largest religion of the world and has about 300 million people living by it. It explains the purpose of life, injustices, and inequality around the world. It also helps people by providing a way of life that will lead to true happiness. The second word is society. What is society? Society is the bigger, cooperating social group with an organized sense of relationship. It is the sum of interactions and people. The third word is fundamental. It means basic, essential, elementary, primary, elemental, underlying, cardinal, central, key, rudimentary. So class, fundamental means important. Next word, worship. Worshipping means adoration, worship, idolatry, reverent, adoring, reverence, admiring, veneration, reverential, and idolizing. The last word that we have is meditation. It means reflection, thought, speculation, contemplation, rumination, musing, consideration, deliberation, cogitation, and pondering. So these are the 5 words that can help us better understand our topic for today.
Buddhism is one of the 5 largest religions in the world. I'm sure you've seen Buddhist monks in martial arts movies. You've heard of meditation retreats. You've seen those big fat Buddha statues at your aunt's house. But what is Buddhism? And what do Buddhists actually believe? That's what we're going to cover today. Buddhism follows the teachings of the Buddha, or the Awakened One. I won't go into the story of Siddhartha Gautama and his famous ascent from plain Jane Prince making it rain in Nepal to his enlightenment under the famous Bodhi tree, but we will explore his teachings. I'm obviously not going to summarize an entire religion on a YouTube video, but the foundational teachings of Buddhism cover a few key things. All the teachings of the Buddha are aimed solely at liberating sentient beings from suffering, that with right action and with right mindset, we can end our suffering. The Buddhist teachings mainly revolve around human suffering and ways to end it. For example, the 4 Noble Truths are that life often, in fact almost always, involves suffering. The reason for this suffering is that we want things to be a certain way. The cure to this suffering is to rise above the desire. And the way to rise above this desire is to follow the Noble Eightfold Path, practices which help us change our minds and understanding. Now that we're getting further down the rabbit hole, the Noble Eightfold Path is another one of the main Buddhist staples, that if we take right view, right resolve, right speech, right action, right livelihood, right effort, right mindfulness, and right concentration, then we can begin to understand the Four Noble Truths. We can understand our suffering and reach nirvana. Now, nirvana isn't just a famous band from the 90s. It's a supreme state of being in Buddhism. It means the complete letting go of desires and suffering. As we can see, the Buddhists believe most of the problems in the world are due to suffering, and a lot of our suffering is caused by our desires. Buddhist practices are focused on removing our desires and living in the present moment. The one who has conquered himself is a far greater hero than he who has defeated 1,000 times 1,000 men. This has been a brief summary of Buddhism and what the Buddhists believe. Buddhists do not believe that people should look to God to save them or bring them enlightenment. Rather, individuals should work out their own path the best they can. It's a religion or a philosophy that focuses on helping yourself, being kind and helping others, and removing your desires to achieve spiritual happiness. Buddhism is one of my favorite religions and has spread through the world with its practical applications in everyday life. Was this video helpful? Would you like to hear more about the middle way, the three universal truths, and more Buddhist things in the next video? Or no? Let me know. Be sure to check out our other videos on religions and philosophies here.
Read the meaning of Buddhism and Thai society using your social studies books. So please open it on page 98. Buddhism was first introduced to Thais more than 700 years ago in the Sukhothai era, the first kingdom of Thailand. In the old days, Buddhist temples were the centers of people's lives from all walks of life. So this is Lord Buddha or Siddhartha Gautama who founded Buddhism in India. And after it was founded 700 years ago, Buddhism was first introduced to Thai people. And in the old days or ancient days, Buddhist temples were the centers of people's lives from all walks of life. But now, class, we have our own altars at home to worship and praise Lord Buddha. Continue, class, discussing about Buddhism. So, Thai Buddhists. Thai Buddhists highly value and strictly worship the three gems of Buddhism. So what are the three gems of Buddhism? We have Lord Buddha, his teachings, Dhamma, and Buddhist monks, Sangha. We have discussed these three gems of Buddhism already before. Altars. Thais usually have Buddhist altars in their houses where they worship Buddhist images. So class, if you are a Buddhist, it is very common in the house of a Buddhist family that there is an altar. It is where they worship Lord Buddha. It means if they want to worship Lord Buddha, they don't really necessarily have to go to temple because they have the small altars in which they can give praise and worship the name of Lord Buddha. Next, we have Eight Noble Paths. They pray and practice meditation, Buddhist people. Most Thais believe in the result of good karma and bad karma, as well as in the past lives. Class, when you say karma, it means when you do good, something good will come back to you. And when you do bad, something bad, of course, will happen to you. The Noble Eightfold Path are the following. We have discussed this one already before. Right view, right intention, right speech, right action, right livelihood, right effort, right concentration, and right mindfulness. Let me just summarize our topic for today. The first one, we studied about Buddhism. So we all know that Buddhism is a major world religion. It is the fourth largest religion of the world after Christianity, Islam, and Hinduism, which has about 300 million followers. It helps people by providing a way of life that will lead to true happiness, which is nirvana. The second topic that we have discussed today is about Thai society. So, Thailand culture. The culture of Thailand incorporates cultural beliefs and characteristics to the area known as modern day. Literature in Thailand is heavily influenced by Indian Hindu culture. Thai people usually don't show off affection in public as they find it disrespectful. So if you can remember, class, in the video we had before, the do's and don'ts in Thailand, showing affection like kissing publicly and hugging publicly is not allowed in Thailand because it shows disrespectfulness. Next, Thai people strive towards refinement in their everyday life. This has been a strong part of the cultural identity. This is shown by their good manners and their soft-spokenness. Class, for your activity today, please answer your book pages 105 and 106. And please note, take a picture of your social studies book, pages 105 and 106 after answering the activities, and then upload it on the social studies album in your line group. Good luck, everyone, and thank you so much. So class, we now come to the end of our learning discussion. If you have any questions, suggestions, comments, you can always message me in our Google Classroom account or in my personal line account. Stay safe, everyone. I'll see you again next week. Goodbye.